Ohayou gozaimasu.
Good morning.
Konnichiwa.
Good afternoon.
Konbanwa.
Good evening.
Nissan yokozo. Nippon. Ohayou gozaimasu.
Good morning.
Konbanwa.
Good afternoon.
Ohayou gozaimasu.
Good morning.
Konnichiwa.
Good afternoon.
Or whatever the case may be.
まだどんな場合何でもいいんですけど。
Ohayou gozaimasu.
Good morning.
Konnichiwa.
Good afternoon.
Or whatever the case may be.
まあどんでもいいんですけど。
Nippon yokozo.
Welcome to Japan.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
3, 2, 1. Contact is the secret, is the moment. When everything happens, contact is the answer, is the reason that everything happens. Contact. Let's make contact. Three, two, one. Contact.
Japan is in Asia. Japan is a country made up of many islands and a land of many contrasts. Japan, precious oysters, rare salamanders.
Kaori and I are in Tsukiji, a big fish market in Tokyo. At dawn, boatloads of fish are unloaded here, and everyone comes to buy. Everyone. From chefs buying a lot of fish for big restaurants and hotels, to individuals like us, just looking for a couple of oysters.
The squid again.
Whoa! There's all kinds of fish here.
Huge. There's a
Huge.
tuna.
What is that?
Tuna. They are tuna. すいません。一つこれおいくらぐらいですか？はい。これいくらぐらい？45万。45万。This whole tuna costs about 45 with 04, which means 450,000 yen.
400. It's like $3,000 or $4,000. Wow, that's $3,000 or $4,000 for this one fish.
これ何キロぐらいですか？And it weighs 105 kilograms.
How many people will this fish feed?
何人ぐらいで食べられますか？700 people.
Whoa! That is one big fish. This one here?
いや。ごめんなさい、これ買いました。
Is there a pearl in there?
No, it's for the, for eating. This is oyster.
I thought they were like, they were just bigger than that, you know?
But
They look totally different. I thought they were just like flat on the top and they open and close like that.
No.
It's hard to think of an oyster as something alive. It feels more like a rock. It just doesn't look like an animal. But it is. I can't even open it.
No.
There's a pearl in there. I know there's a pearl in
No,
there.
it's not. There is no pearl.
This is the very beginning of an oyster. Like all living creatures, the life of an oyster starts with one cell. A cell so small you can only see it under a microscope. A single cell divides into 2, then 4, and so on, until the mass of cells begins to look like an oyster. 2 days have passed, and the oyster already has a transparent shell. Those tiny hairs around the shell are used for gathering food from the water around it. As the oyster grows, it develops a foot. It will use this foot to get food and to get from place to place. In 5 days, the oyster has a larger and thicker shell. It is about this time that we see its heart beginning to pump blood cells throughout the body. This is Toba Bay, one of the best places in Japan for growing oysters. Here, conditions are almost perfect for the oysters. The water temperature is never too hot or too cold, and the bay is protected from strong ocean currents. You're looking at one giant oyster farm. Just under those floats lie the nets where the young oysters grow quietly and undisturbed for 3 years. Then they are pulled out of the water and prepared for surgery that will cause the oyster to produce a pearl. This process was developed almost 100 years ago by Kokichi Mikimoto, and to this day, the process is very much the same. No machines are used. The whole process is done by hand, and only by a few very skilled workers. Kaori took me to the Mikimoto Pearl Farm to watch how a pearl is created. Kaori, what are they doing?
They are doing surgery.
Surgery?
Yes. Come on, David. 大西さん、こんにちは。
こんにちは。
アメリカ・ニューヨークからいらしたデイビッド・クイーンさんです。This is Mr. Onishi who can tell us more about pearl oysters than I can tell you.
はじめまして。
はじめまして。こんにちは。
こんにちは。見せていただけますか？ Could you show us? これが
真珠貝なんですけども。
These are the pearl oysters.
一つそれじゃあ切ってください。
So she'll open it.
Ooh, there's lots of stuff in there.
これが全部中のあれですね。
これが貝殻で。
This is the inside living parts. This is the meat.
ここが貝柱です。
That is what we call shell pole. It's the muscle which opens or closes the shell.
Mr. Onishi went on pointing out the different parts of the oyster. Those are the gills. They are the lungs of the oyster, and they also filter food from the water that flows through the oyster. That dark spot? It's the heart of the oyster. That's the foot. The oysters use them to move around when they are young, but soon they attach themselves to rocks or other oysters with those green strings. But where's the pearl?
This is the oyster to make the pearl. So they don't have any pearl yet.
Oh, there's no pearl in there yet.
No, 入ってませんよね。
そうですね。
No.
So how do you make How do you make the pearl?
じゃあどうやって真珠を作るんですか？
そこでですね、
ええ
真珠というものは
This material is the one which covers the core of the pearl, which is called mantle. And the mantle produces the calcium which makes these parts.
So this is what actually coats the pearl.
Yes. だこれが本当に真珠を作る外側の綺麗なところなんですね。
と一緒の成分ですね。
Yes,
でそこ
the
で
same
この
material.
綺麗な
Oysters make their own shells, which have smooth, pearly surfaces inside.
この街灯膜
Sometimes, the oyster will produce a natural pearl when a grain of sand gets inside the shell and the mantle tissue produces calcium layers to coat it. But not every oyster produces natural pearls. In order to create a cultured pearl, the oyster must be tricked into coating an implanted core. Are these pearls?
No, they are not. They are used as the center of the pearl.
The core.
核ですよね。
そうですね。
Yes.
What are they made of?
これ何でできてるんですか？
これはね、ミシシッピ川にね住んでる淡水産の貝のね、
They are the freshwater clam from Mississippi River.
Mississippi River in the United States?
アメリカの。
そうですよ。
Yes, they are.
材料を輸入してで真珠をアメリカにまた輸出してるわけです。
So we import the clam from the United States and sell the pearl to the United States.
Oh, so the core of the pearl is ground down from freshwater clams.
このように
Yes.
細長く切ってでそれをさらに四角く切ってで丸くこう転がしてですねで仕上げるわけです。
I caught the gist of that. It gets broken down until it's smaller and
Yes.
smaller, and the bigger pieces are made into bigger centers, and the smaller ones are made into smaller cores, like this one.
Yes, exactly what he said.
I'm getting pretty good at this. To make sure the core is coated with the pearly substance, the mantle is removed from one oyster, cut into tiny pieces, and prepared for insertion along with the cores into other oysters.
In preparation for surgery, clips are placed between the shells of the oysters to keep the shells separated. But the workers must wait until the oysters open up by themselves, because if tools were used to force them open, the mantle might get damaged.
The pieces of tissue are then carefully planted inside each oyster, and next to the piece of tissue, a rounded piece of shell that will form the core of the pearl. The size of the core determines how large the pearl will be.
Each of these workers put about 500 cores into the oysters every day. After surgery, the oysters are placed in the nets where they will stay for 20 days.
These oysters may not look like they are alive, but they are. Hey, this one moved. I kind of forgot that it was alive still. I didn't even think of it as being alive.
なんかこれ死んでるかと思ったんですね。
Scared me.
これでいいんですよね。
This is the recovery area. Here, the oysters are kept and closely watched for 20 days. Further? Tell me when. Stop. After 20 days, the survivors are then moved to larger beds further out in the bay, where they will grow for 2 years under constant care. As the oysters grow, pearls begin to form inside. These 2 years are very important. The oysters must be looked after and constantly protected from parasites that might harm them. Because of this, the oysters are regularly taken out of the water and scrubbed down to wash away any parasites. Another enemy of the oysters is the unpredictable weather. It's calm now, but when the monsoon storms come, rough seas present a real threat to the oyster beds. After 2 years of constant care, the now 5-year-old oysters are ready to yield the carefully cultivated pearls. Out of all the oysters that you put out, what percentage will have pearls?
全部角入れしたのから何%ぐらいが
真珠になるというよりも
In 2 years, about 40% will die. That means 60% will survive.
ここに入ってるんですね。
The pearl should be inside of this.
That's the gonad where they placed
Yes,
it. Oh. It is
綺麗ですね。
glorious.
So
Can I hold it?
ちょっといいですか？
It's beautiful.
Yes.
3, 2, 1. Contact.
Where should I be looking for the giant salamander?
They're on the edges of the river.
That's Kanae Nishio. She's a graduate student at Kyoto University, studying herpetology. That's the study of amphibians. Should we go down to look closer?
Yes.
We're by a stream in the mountains near Hiroshima, looking for a rare creature, a giant Japanese salamander. It's cold, dark, and wet. Fortunately, I do know what we're looking for, because earlier today, Kanae introduced me to giant salamanders in captivity at the Hiroshima Zoo.
Here is.
Whoa! That is gigantic.
Yes.
Are those the eggs over there?
Yes.
How many eggs does the mother lay at any one time?
At one time, 400 eggs.
400 eggs?
400 eggs.
How many survive?
In good condition, about 70 or 80%.
So about 300, 325
Yes.
would survive.
Yes.
Although most of the eggs hatch, very few salamanders live to be adults. She really looks like she's protecting the eggs. She's wrapped around them.
Yes, but David, this is not mother, but father.
This is the father?
Father.
What's the father doing with the eggs?
Always, father is protecting the eggs. About mother, as for mother, mother just went out after gave birth to the eggs.
So the mother lays the eggs and then the father stays to
And so
protect
on.
them.
Yes.
The salamander looks very much like a crocodile.
Yes.
What's the difference?
Yes, but crocodile is reptile and salamanders is amphibian.
What's the difference between an amphibian and a reptile?
Amphibian and reptiles. Reptiles lay their eggs on the ground, out of the water, on the ground. But salamanders lay their eggs in the water. You see, in the water.
Also, the eggs are different. Reptile eggs have shells, but amphibian eggs don't. Like these. Could we see what the eggs look like after they're hatched? Are there any here that are after the hatching?
Yes, over there we can see.
Over there? They're so small,
Yes,
and their legs are so tiny.
yes. But when they hatch, they don't have legs.
When do they grow their legs?
About after 3.5 months after hatch.
How old are they now?
Now they're 1 year old.
Can you take it out?
Yes, I will try. Can you see?
Yeah. There are the legs right there.
Legs.
What are those little things next to their head? They kind of look like ears.
These are the gills.
Oh, the gills. That's how they breathe.
Yes.
How is it breathing now when it's out of water?
Through the wet skin.
So it breathes through its skin and
Yes.
through its gills.
Yes.
Do they keep their gills their whole life?
No, when they get 4-year-old, they lose gills
How do they breathe after they lose their gills?
using lungs. And over there, we can see, I can show you some of this.
Oh, some of the older ones.
Yes,
Okay.
just to go over there and these are 3-year-old salamanders.
Do they still have their gills?
Yes,
Yeah, see right over there.
yes.
They'll lose them this year, right?
Next year, I think, David, pick up one salamander and compare. Oh,
Whoops.
don't be afraid.
Okay. This one.
Can you?
Yeah.
Yes.
I keep dropping them. They're so slippery.
And then
I'll hold this
hold
one.
this. I will hold this. David,
That one is much bigger.
yes, both of them are 3-year-old, but they're different in size because they're here in captivity.
So these were both, they're both the same age.
Yes.
But since they were in captivity, we don't know if this is the same way they grow
Yes.
as they do in the wild.
Yes. And this is one of the things we are still studying
Let's put them back.
here.
Can I?
Yes.
You are still a graduate student now, right?
Yes.
Studying amphibians.
Yes.
What's that called again?
Herpetology.
Herpetology.
Yes.
So you're studying to be a herpetologist.
Yes, that's right.
How did you get interested in something like that? What led you to become interested in studying amphibians?
When I was a high school student, my biology teacher gave me one egg of salamanders, not giant salamander, but small Japanese salamanders. And the egg was just after the fertilization, so it was just then single cell. And when I looking the egg split into 2 and into 4 into 8 and a large amount of cells. That was the first time I saw with my eyes, and that was very exciting and very impressive thing to me. David, this is 6-year-old salamander, and now it doesn't have gills. It has lungs.
That's how it's breathing through its lungs?
That's right.
It's a really incredible animal. First, it's born as a tadpole.
Yes.
And it breathes through its gills, and then it gets feet,
Yes.
and then it loses its gills and
Yes.
breathes through its skin and its lungs. It's constantly changing.
But not only constantly changing, but it keeps on growing.
So as long as it's alive, it keeps
Yes.
growing.
Yes.
It's an incredible amphibian.
But I love this creature. David, do you want to see bigger ones?
Sure.
Yes.
Do you have bigger ones?
Yes.
Sure. Should we put this one back?
Yeah.
And that's how Kanae and I ended up wading through a dark and very cold stream looking for a giant salamander in the wild. Kanae, does the giant salamander only come out at night?
Yes. Just after the sunset, for 1 or 2 hours.
So you'd only see them for a specific time.
Yes.
Do they always live in streams?
Yes. From the birth to when they die, they always live in streams, and they don't live in ponds and lakes.
Why not?
I don't know, but now we are researching about that. Here it is.
Whoa! That is one giant salamander. Kanae caught one and put it in a plastic tube to measure the salamander's length. That is a huge salamander. I didn't
Yes.
expect it to be that big. How big is it?
Let me see. 55 centimeters.
And is that how big it can get? Is it full grown?
It can get.
This salamander is about 1.5 feet long. A fully grown one can be as long as 4.5 feet or longer.
3 times.
It's big.
I will pick it up. But be careful. This can This may bite my finger off.
The jaws are very tough then.
Yes, very tough jaw, very strong, very keen teeth. They have. Can you see really?
Yeah. It looks very smooth.
Yes,
Oh, it's very smooth.
yes.
Should we put it back?
Yes, we should, because this is very rare species, and we must reserve this species.
So I guess we were very lucky to see it tonight.
Yes, we are very honored tonight. I love this creature.
Different species of giant salamanders are found in North America and Asia.
Goodbye. See you again.
This species, the giant Japanese salamander, is one of 2 species in Asia that's endangered. But this is only one of the many species of animals that are endangered throughout the world.
The Bengal tiger, the whooping crane. In one way, they're the same. The sea turtle, the black rhino. There's something about them you may not know. They're endangered, endangered. There aren't many still alive. Endangered, endangered. They're fighting to survive. The orangutan, the manatee, soon they could be history. The panda and the gorilla too. There's something about them that's sad but true. They're endangered, endangered. There aren't many still alive. Endangered, endangered. They're fighting to survive. The danger is these animals could disappear forever. The crocodile you may never see, the humpback whale, the chimpanzee, the condor, the cheetah, the pampas deer. If things don't change, they'll disappear. They're endangered, endangered. They're fighting for their lives. Endangered, endangered. Before too long, they could be gone.
321 Contact is a production of the Children's Television Workshop.
Three, two, one.
Contact is the secret, is the moment when everything happens. Contact is the answer, is the reason that everything happens. Contact. Let's make contact.
Three, two, one.
Contact.
Today we'll find out what these blocks, these pipes,